mother was born in Lovettsville, Virginia, and my father came from Southwest Virginia as a young man, where he completed high school at the Lovettsville High School. And he and my mother were high school sweethearts, and they got married, and they proceeded to have 5 children, and they made such an impression on my life. I watched every day people looking after people, taking care of their relatives. Grandparents didn't go into nursing homes at that time because the family was right there. And I watched that and I learned from that. My mother and father were caregivers of their parents. I was lucky enough to get a job with the Department of Social Services. A friend of mine, a longtime family friend, who was a social worker there, recommended me to social services. I just remember after getting to know the ECHO people, the lady and talking to the woman who ran, Zara White, who ran the Employment Commission, she came running out to tell me that there was a position opening for ECHO and that I might be interested in it. And the position was secretary, bookkeeper, and transportation manager. Those 3 things. Years ago, people were placed in institutions. And some of the people that we served were people that were being allowed out of institutions. There was this big push in the 80s for deinstitutionalization, and ECHO was a very pivotal part in helping individuals come back to their community. I just remember there were 3 men, the Crouch brothers, and all 3 of them had lived out in Chantilly on a farm, and their parents had to put them in an institution because they couldn't take care of them, and all 3 of them came out. ECHO is one of the programs that helped them, so I was very excited about that, and I decided, instead of being afraid of an individual that may have a problem like that, I would do my best to try to joke with them and make them feel comfortable. I learned that from my dad. He's a real jokester. But I remember Ben particularly would throw his crutches and curse and yell, and he was very unhappy. And so I brought him right out on the workshop floor, and I decided that I was going to focus on Ben, and I would say, "Hey Ben, you see what we're doing here," and sort of have the others not be afraid of him. And he was the biggest jokester in the whole place, and it was just wonderful to be able to let Ben be a human being again. I love the challenge of getting a business person to say yes to me, because I'm showing them that we can do it, and we go back and we do it, and I try to instill that with the people that I'm serving, and to get them excited about completing jobs. But I also like to inspire the business person and say, "See, this is what you can do. You can affect other people's lives. You can, just by sharing your work, just by sharing something that you need to have done." I like the name Every Citizen Has Opportunities. And the reason I like that is that I like to think that I'm helping people give opportunities through the business community, and I'm also receiving opportunities, and have for my 32-year career. I've had the opportunity to learn a lot of things, and I've had the opportunity to know some people very closely and to be like family to me. So success, I think, is if you just you don't allow barriers to get in your way. And for heaven's sakes, the people that we serve have had a million barriers in front of them, just from the act of birth, being born with a disability. that started their barriers in life. And so I get just very excited about making sure that they have opportunities to show what they can do and to be able to have a life like you and I have.
How would you like to have yourself remembered?
That she cared.